Hey guys, Joel's back with another reasoning test where I challenge the status quo of the wisdom of the world and the church by diving deep into the ancient scriptures, breaking down the original meaning of them, and applying them practically to situations in our present day. And today I'm going to be talking more on the topic of light and life.
Come now and let us reason together. Come now, we can talk it over.
But before I begin, I gotta say, if you like these videos, give it a thumbs up, hit subscribe for more, because I'm honestly making videos like this every day. This message is accelerating because we're reaching a tipping point when after we cross this threshold, things are going to be completely different. We're entering into a new paradigm and we're literally manifesting Earth 2.0, the utopia we know we've come here to live in. But with that being said, I'm just going to jump right into it. I actually want to highlight just one verse from the Tehillim, and this is from the 36th Tehillim, verse 9. And it says, "For with you," talking about Elohim, "is the fountain of life. In your light shall we see light." So it's talking about source being the actual source of all life. And not just that, that in that light of source is how we can perceive light and how we can actually assimilate that light and be those beacons of light in the world around us. But you know, when we're talking about the fountain of life, Elohim manifest is literally the word, the living logos. And through that logos, all things were created. And when the Logos itself embodied physicality in the historical Nazarene, just look at what he said to the woman at the well in regards to this living water. Jesus answered and said unto her, "Whosoever drinks of this water," talking about the water at the well, "shall thirst again. But whosoever drinks of the water that I shall give him shall never thirst. But the water that I shall give him shall be in him a well of water, springing up into everlasting life." So right there, he's talking about this fountain of life. But what else does the Evangelion of John say? He says, in him, talking about the living logos that precedes the physicality of the Nazarene Christ, in him was life, and the life was the light of men. So right there, we tie back to that verse in Tehillim where it says, "With thee is the fountain of life, in your light shall we see light." So he says that that life was the light of men. And of course, that light shines in the darkness, and the darkness comprehends it not. But if we go down further, it actually says that was the true light, which lights every man that comes into the world. So this is how we are made to be the light, by accepting and acknowledging that light that lights us. You know, and it's no coincidence that Jesus also said in the Evangelion of Matthaiou, "You are the light of the world. A city that is set on a hill cannot be hid. Neither do men light a candle and put it under a bushel, but on a candlestick, and it gives light unto all that are in the house. Let your light so shine before men, that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven." So while we are the light of the world, we got to be that example. We can't hide ourselves. We got to be that city on the hill that cannot be hid. Nobody lights that candle just to hide it away so that its light doesn't influence the space around it. But they put it up on the candlestick so that its light can influence the space around it to its fullest potential. And that's what we're actually here to do, to give light unto all that are in the house being this physical time-space dimension. And when we shine before men, not only do they notice our influence, but then they notice source. And that's what he means when he says, glorify your Father which is in heaven. Father is source. That is where the seed comes out of. And that seed, of course, is the spoken word, which creates and manifests all things. That living logos, where John says all things were made by him, and without him was nothing made. It's talking about the logos. You know, a lot of people get hung up on the physical historical Christ, but that's only a piece of the puzzle. The real force that actually was embodied in the Nazarene named Jesus, or Yeshua, was actually this word, this living principle that is one and the same with source, but when it goes forth from source in terms of emanation, it mirrors on the spirit, and that itself creates the physical reality. So right there you have the threefold nature of source. The Father, which is the source, or the emanator, and then the emanation, which is the spoken word, which is the logos. But when the logos hits the spirit or the feminine receptacle of divinity, like, the spirit is moving on the face of the waters, ready to receive the spoken word. And once the word was spoken, let there be light, or in Hebrew, yehi or, which literally means light be. It's not like, oh, if it's possible, let there be light. No, it's a command and it's decreeing it. Light be. And it says light was, because that word impregnated the Spirit of God, or the Ruach Elohim in Hebrew. And that is how, through him and in him, all things were made. And we are those living vessels to receive that same power, that living word. And from that, we can actually become those wells of living water with rivers flowing out of our own belly, our guts. As it also says, out of our belly, koilia in the Greek, shall flow out these rivers of living water. So tap in and really be the light of the world, because that's when we can really manifest and effect change, not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those around us, in circumstances and in society, and literally manifest that utopia that we've come here deserving to partake of. So I love you guys. I'll check you in a future video. Joel signing out once again. Agape. Salaam. Namaste. Shalom.